Welcome to our channel once again. Today we are going to give some tips about growing of tomatoes. Tomatoes are an important vegetable in this country. They are used both in our homes and also by the processing industries. The tomatoes are grown across the country in almost all counties, but the top producing counties are Kirinyaga is the top most, followed by Kajiado, and then Meru, Bungoma, and Taita Taveta. And tomatoes are grown by smallholder farmers as well as medium level farmers. They are grown in the open field and also in greenhouses. And they are both rain-fed and also grown under irrigation. To succeed in tomato farming, one needs to start with the right seed. And by right seed, one needs to choose a variety that is high yielding and also varieties that are disease resistant. There are two main types of tomato varieties. They are the determinate and indeterminate varieties. The difference here is that the indeterminate varieties, they grow for a long period of time. You can harvest the indeterminate varieties for up to 8 months or even 10 months. And the indeterminate varieties are mainly grown in the greenhouses, and they can grow up to a height of 10 feet. The determinate ones are mainly grown in the open field, and they grow like up to 4 feet, and you don't harvest for a long time. You can harvest for they flower and you harvest like for 30 days, and then you have to uproot. So for the indeterminate varieties grown especially in the greenhouses, as long as you keep feeding them the right nutrients, you can harvest for a long time. And tomatoes are propagated through seedlings. The seedlings are raised in seed beds. The farmers can raise their own seedlings, or they can buy from certified nurseries. Certified nurseries means the nurseries that are inspected by KEFIS. KEFIS is the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service. It's a parastatal that watches over our inputs and also farm produce. And the seedlings can be raised on seed beds on the ground, or you can use germination trays. The seedlings that are grown on the ground, the challenge here is that when you are transplanting, there are chances that you break the roots as you uproot the seedlings. And so if the roots are damaged, you are likely to start from a disadvantaged position. It's advisable that when you are transplanting or when you are uprooting the seedlings, you pour water on the seed bed so that at least you pull out the seedling without damaging the roots a lot. On the other hand, with the germination trays, you get the seedling with a seed ball, with a ball of soil around it. So the roots are intact and they are not damaged. When you have your good quality seedling. Um, Before you transplant to the field or to the greenhouse, you need to have your soil tested. You have to know the soil fertility position of your soil. You need to know the pH. You need to know the diseases and pests in the soil before you can even transplant. And this is because the tomatoes, to get good quality tomatoes, you need to apply the nutrients that the plant requires during the entire growing period. When transplanting the seedling, it's advisable to add manure. It's recommended that you add 2 handfuls of manure. Um, the tomato plant requires different nutrients at different stages of growth, and at planting you'll need the phosphate-based fertilizer to promote the establishment of the root system. So you add manure, mix well, and then add phosphate-based fertilizer. Some people also add wood ash. It is said that wood ash has some calcium bicarbonate, which is good for the plant. When the plant is growing, you need to add nitrogen to promote good vegetative establishment. Uh, Sometimes the nitrogen-based fertilizer is added twice during the growth of the crop. And at some point, you also require potassium during the flowering and fruiting stage. Micronutrients are also required by the plant. For instance, boron. Boron is good at stopping the flower abortion. In other words, boron promotes development of the fruit, and so you don't see the flowers. Sometimes you see flowers on the ground having aborted, meaning there is some boron deficiency. One of the major problems caused by nutrient deficiencies is the blossom head rot. And blossom head rot is when the tomato fruits start rotting from the bottom. This is caused by lack of calcium, and even when there is calcium in the soil, sometimes if the soil is acidic, then the plant cannot absorb the calcium. It's also good to control uh, this deficiency early enough when the fruits start forming, because you cannot control it when the plant is already rotting. The damage will already have been done. The other thing we wanted to talk about is the staking or training of the crop. You need to do staking to support the plant to remain in an upright position. And some people use stakes, or you can use twines tied to some overhead wires. And the support helps to reduce incidences of disease because you give enough air circulation, and also there is enough light so the plants can grow healthy. In cases where you don't provide good support, especially in open field where sometimes people grow without staking the crops, when the leaves get into contact with the soil, then you encourage fungal diseases to grow. The other thing we can talk about is the pruning. You need to remove some of the lateral branches, and the lateral branches grow between the leaves of the tomato and the stem. So between the stem and the leaves, you find there is a stem beginning to grow. And what many people do is you pinch those stems beginning to grow, you pinch them out. Because again, if you allow too many branches, number one, there will be heavy canopy, it will be like bushy. You won't get enough light for the crop. There won't be enough air circulation. And all these encourage fungal diseases. Or if there is not enough light, you find that some leaves start becoming yellow. Again, if you allow too many branches to grow, it means those branches will also produce flowers and they'll produce tomatoes. And remember, all those branches are supported by one root system on the ground. So the root system may be overwhelmed in supporting too many branches. So many people will allow only one stem to grow, which then produces the flowers and fruits, or at least two main branches are the ones that grow to produce the flowers and the fruits. It's good to do mulching of the crop. The mulching helps to retain soil moisture. The mulching also reduces soil erosion, and the mulching also stops growth of weeds, and mulching also helps to improve soil structure. On watering of tomato plants, the tomato plants require moist soil. And here we say moist soil, not waterlogged soil. The waterlogged soils will actually affect the crop negatively. And when watering, again, you don't water the leaves. It's advisable to water the tomato crop at the base and at the ground. This is because if you put water on the leaves, they easily get fungal infections. One other thing to say about the tomato growing is the pests and diseases. One of the dangerous pests in tomato growing is the tuta absoluta, which can actually destroy the tomato plant 100%. It's good to say that ICIPE is International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, which is based in Kasarani in Nairobi. They have come up with an integrated pest management program for the control of tuta absoluta. There are many diseases that affect the tomato plant: the fusarium wilt, bacterial wilt, late blight, and early blight. And I would say that it's good to control them based on the recommended products by the Pest Control Board. The other thing about tomato growing is the rotation. It's good to practice some crop rotation when growing tomatoes, because sometimes the diseases and pests accumulate on the ground where you grow the tomatoes. And it's good to rotate with, for instance, legume crops, because legume crops, they have the nitrogen fixing bacteria, which fixes nitrogen from the air. So when you come back to plant tomatoes, you may not need a lot of nitrogen-based fertilizer. And so we'll stop there today. There is a lot more to say about growing of tomatoes, and we will continue to bring certain topics now and then. So thank you very much. Remember to subscribe and also to share the video. And allow me to add that subscription for to the channel is free, because I have been asked that question. Thank you.